Watkins Glen, a quaint village nestled among innumerable falls along the Finger Lakes region in the heart of New York wine country. The town was made famous for the road races held along the village's main street in the late 40s and 50s, which eventually made their way to the 3.4-mile circuit that is Watkins Glen. The Glen has played host to many racing series, including Formula One and the United States Grand Prix. But this weekend, the Ferrari Challenge North America has descended upon this iconic track for the fourth round of the 2024 championship season. Who will master this old-school circuit and emerge victorious from the weekend? Only time will tell. Well, day one here at the Glen with the Ferrari Challenge North America. Tony Verlander was just as dramatic as we kind of expected it to be.
Yeah, this track provides great racing. Now going into day two, drivers know the start better. They know what to ask from the race car. So a little bit of fine tuning with the setup and we are ready to go for Sunday.
Yeah, very much looking forward to that. Before we get to the race action though, Tony, you and I have experienced the hospitality again here at Watkins Glen. Really, really impressive.
Yeah, this is beautiful for the drivers, their guests and the families as well. So you have hard racing on track and then you enjoy our hospitality. There's a great atmosphere.
Well, of course, the atmosphere continues from a broadcast point of view because down in the pit lane for us, once again, Amanda Busick.
Hey guys and Dave, it was so nice sharing in some of that hospitality before we kick off the races. Number 2 here at Watkins Glen. We're going to get started with our Copa Shell race. You can see behind me, Jan Bernier is getting into that Ferrari 296. I've been talking to several of the drivers here this weekend just on this 296 platform and how all of the additives to the drivers are really on showcase here this weekend at a track that is as challenging as Watkins Glen. They've talked about the added downforce of the 296, the tire compound specifically from Pirelli for this racetrack, and just the added confidence that drivers are getting in this chassis to really attack places along Watkins Glen. And talking to Gabe Priebe, who will start P2 in that Copa Shell AM class today, he was telling me about the trust that he has in the S's that are so demanding here at Watkins Glen. But race number 2, you got to go to the front row with Eric Barston. He was able to extend his points lead in the championship in class with the win yesterday. Bruce Cleveland right next to him will look to give him some added momentum here today for a win. But an excellent race day, as you can see. Beautiful blue skies above here in the Finger Lakes region of New York for an excellent race day, guys.
So much, Amanda. So looking forward to it. It's race day 2 of our round 4 of Ferrari Challenge here in North America. 30 minutes of race action to come from our Shell and Shell AM drivers. So midpoint of the season then. From here we go to Sonoma, then it's Indianapolis Motor Speedway before the finale Mondiale event, which is always a glittering spectacular, that's for sure, and being held this year in Imola in Italy, mid-October. Everyone told me you'll fall in love with the Glen when you come here, and I have to say it is one of the most beautiful regions and one of the most impeccably manicured circuits that I have ever been to, and credit to everyone that looks after it. 11 testing turns for our drivers with not much leeway for anyone that manages to get it wrong, regrettably. So, yes, the pressure is on all our drivers to perform on this track, and Watkins Glen is iconic, and you can see the reason why, and that is just some of the beautiful countryside behind us. 40 degrees the track temperature, air temperature 31, 45% humidity, and the wind has picked up a bit from qualifying. It's now 10 kilometers per hour gusting, so that's the way it looks as our Copa Shell and Copa Shell AM cars head out onto the track for their race 2 of the weekend. The Shell drivers with the yellow strip across the top of the windscreen, the AM drivers with the black strip across the top of the windscreen, and alongside me here is Ferrari brand ambassador, top driver Tony Villander. Well, the pressure is on for these drivers to perform this afternoon. We heard from Amanda about how satisfied everyone is and how trusting they are with their 296 machinery. Now they've got to make it work on this track.
Yeah, second start for the weekend, so drivers have learned their lesson. In Shell Am, we have Jerry Walters, and she lost the lead at the start yesterday, so definitely she has studied how to do things differently at the start. Both category pole sitters twice on pole this weekend. Eric Marston is having a great run in his championship, so close qualifying. Bruce Cleveland was really close, less than a tenth, and it will be exciting to see what happens at the start.
Thank you, Tony. Getting a good lap here at Watkins Glen is critical, and here's Dave Musial 2.0 to show us exactly how it's done.
Hi, I'm Dave Musial 2.0, driver of the number 31 296 Challenge car with Ferrari Lake Forest, and I'm going to take you for a lap around Watkins Glen International Raceway. Here we are at Watkins Glen, coming up to the start-finish line, and I'm going to brake it right about the 400, hard braking, going to turn right, get on the apex, get on the gas, let it track out to the left, going to wait until the end of the curb to turn, going to hold it down here on the right-hand side, up until the end there, make a left, hold it on the left-hand side and let it kind of track out to the guardrail. Now I'm just staying on the gas and going through the gears, just waiting up until right about the 400, going to hit the brakes, get through the bus stop, go right, then left again, and then just get back on the power, let it kind of track out but not too far and get it back over to the right, and then get onto the gas once I see the watchtower, and then coming up here, going to be braking at about the 200, and then just not getting too wide, trying to keep it in, and then letting it track out to the right, get up on the apex there, and then braking right about the 200 again, and then trail braking it in, and then getting back on the power, letting it track all the way out on the left-hand side. And then going to be braking right about at the 200 again up here, and then trail braking it in, getting on the gas, and then letting it track all the way out, using all the road on the left-hand side. Drop it to fourth gear here, and then hold it, and then get back onto the power, let it track all the way out. And then coming up here, going to turn at the 100 board, and then let it track all the way out. And then coming up here, going to get back to the left, and then get back on the apex on the right, and let it track all the way out to the left. And that's a lap at Watkins Glen.
And a super smooth lap. Dave Musial 2.0 giving us a hot one around the Watkins Glen circuit. Cars being lined up now in the pit lane then ahead of all the racing activities to get underway. So we mentioned there the two pole sitters, pole sitter in each class. Of course, Eric Marston going from pole in Shell, and Jerry Walters once again, a Shell Am pole sitter. What can she do differently today? We will find out in just a while. Lisa Clark for Ferrari Beverly Hills starts P9 in Copa Shell, and big shout out to Bruce Cleveland, who really chased Eric Marston down for that pole position. There was just 2 100s, and as if by magic, there is the Bruce Cleveland car. He did a very, very good job in qualifying. What can he do in the race? It will be a bit of a drag race into turn number 1 between himself and Eric Marston, and well, Eric knows that he was run really close, and he told us at lunchtime, you know, he sat in the pit lane with his fingers crossed that Bruce didn't find those 210s.
Yeah, 200s. But
you're right, 2 100s. Apologies.
Yeah, but at the start it will be tough. You can go side by side through turn 1. You can leave the space, but where it gets a bit more complicated is through the S's and mid to the top of the S's. There's basically one racing line, or the other driver really needs to back off. You cannot keep the same speed if you are offline. So. Exciting fact is that the start itself is very important. We saw it yesterday. You can overtake here during the race, but it is not easy. Not one of the easiest track to overtake. So a lot of expectation and pressure for the start.
And there is no question about it. Maintaining pressure on the car that you are trying to overtake in the hope of just a momentary lapse of concentration and a mistake, that is going to help you in terms of any overtaking plans that you may have in the race. So we'll see how those drivers adopt those strategies and how they can defend as well. It's a brilliant grid of cars, some 23 cars that will be taken to the track. And down there in the pit lane with those all-important words is Amanda Busick.
It is officially time to start the second half of this 2024 Ferrari Challenge Copa Shell season. Drivers, start your Ferrari engines.
Absolutely on her command, so they do as they are told, Tony.
Yeah, this is the sign for the drivers. If there is tension before the race, this is where it races even more. So you know it's time to go. A lot of concentration goes to the start, like we discussed. And then after that is all about the reactions. When the green flag is there, you can anticipate a lot of things, but in real life, in real racing, you need to be able to react whatever happens at the start. So the main focus is right there.
Truth be told, as we reflect on yesterday's races, they were dramatic because there were full course yellows aplenty, so we know that drama can play its part, and I guess, Tony, that's something as a racing driver you kind of can't prepare for that, but you have to have that expectation and know how to deal with it.
Yeah, it's true. So also defend your own position if there is a chance. Be ready to take an advantage of somebody else's error. So race might and can be cut a bit short. And also yesterday we saw a lot of we saw a few red flags, especially the areas between turn 1 and turn 2. Somehow it's been this weekend the most difficult part. So drivers losing the control of their car, exit of 1, right in the exit curb, and then the car has either over rotation to the right and hitting the tire barrier there, or on the left side, let's say the safety protection NASCAR style wall. So we see a few accidents in this area this weekend.
Thank you, Tony. Okay, as the cars are released then on their formation lap behind the safety car, it's time for us to buckle up our belts as we get ready to go racing. And here comes the grid in full for our Shell and Shell Am drivers then, who are on their formation lap. Going from row 1, Eric Marston, he was chased all the way to that pole position by Bruce Cleveland, who goes from P2. Chuck Whittle and Ray Acosta, very good qualifying from those two drivers there on the second row. Then it's John Fiskup and Rob McWilliams, they go from P5 and P6. P7 is Jan Bernier with Osvaldo Gallo for company on row 4. Lisa Clark and Mike Luley go from row 5 of our Copa Shell grid into our Copa Shell Am drivers. Another pole position for Jerry Walters and Gabe Harib alongside. It's Roger Monteforte and Roy Carroll. They'll both be lively from the 7th row, P13 and 14. Brian Waltersdorf and Steve Check go from P15 and P16. On the 9th row of the grid, Melissa Kozira and Dana Goodwin. They go from P17 and 18, with Neil Langberg and Helen Shue on the 10th row. And on the 11th row, we find Jeffrey Nunberg. So the scene is set then with 21 drivers out there to do battle in the mix of Shell and Shell Am classes. I remind you, the Shell drivers with the yellow strip across the top of the windscreen, the Am drivers with the black strip across the top of the windscreen. It's at the final stages of preparation, Tony, where I suspect as a racing driver the sense of anticipation and excitement builds to its maximum.
Yeah, try to keep your brakes warm. The brakes itself, the calipers and the rotors, they give heat to the wheels and build those tire temps and pressures. Be ready to react if something happens around you. Be aware of the cars, and also when the race starts itself, green flag, ready to react. Have the right gear. We saw earlier in the season some drivers even from pole position had the wrong gear when you go down with the throttle and hitting the rev limiter and losing places. So many things going on at the start of the race.
There are many drivers champing at the bit to get going here then behind the safety car, which will peel off into the pit lane. We throw two screens on screen for you so that you can see the action from two completely different perspectives, and you can pick the bones out of the start. Eric Marston and Bruce Cleveland then But Ray Acosta and Chuck Whittle are going to be very, very anxious right at the start to try and usurp both of those drivers. So the pressure is on, and when the safety car has peeled off into the pit lane, it will be the responsibility of Eric Marston and Bruce Cleveland to control the pace of the rolling start as they head towards the green flag right now. It looks like everyone is in formation, a good start. Who is it going to be as we go racing then and get the green flag side by side, a drag race into turn number 1 between Eric Marston and Bruce Cleveland. And Eric Marston did everything just about right there. Bruce happened to check into that P2 position, and with all our fingers and toes crossed, all the drivers seemingly making it through the first sequence of turns with no problem at all. And on this occasion, Jerry Walters, in my opinion, has done a brilliant job here.
Yeah, looked like a clean start overall. The leader, Eric Marston, had a good start, better reaction than he did yesterday, and the leading 2 cars went side by side into turn 1. Jerry Walters also more determined at the start today, and she's able to keep her place as a leader in Shell Am.
No, it's all part of a learning curve, isn't it? You know, she was never going to be prepared to make the mistakes that she made yesterday and has not done so. But there you can see Jerry Walters leading in Copa Shell Am, and of course she has got the cushion of the Lisa Clark car between herself and the hard-charging Roger Monteforte, who is P2. So at the moment she has got the benefit of that car stuck between them. So let's ride on board here and see what it's like from a driver's eye perspective. We're on board with Lisa Clark, and we are following the all-pink Bubbles car, which is leading in Copa Shell Am. So Jerry Walters having put in on pole position, and she did the same yesterday, but the start didn't go her way yesterday. Today it all looks pretty secure. So making moves early on, Steve Check in the 124 car, and now you can see that Roger Monteforte is really going to have the company of one Mr. Roy Carroll right behind him as well, and these two could have a really good ding-dong battle over that P2 place. And of course, the more they fight, it just plays into the hands of Jerry Walters as everything settles down and she's able to potentially escape up the road. This is how close they get to that guardrail, and the sight and sound of those cars as they spring past our camera is immense. Bruce Cleveland is not letting Eric Marston get away here, and Jan Bernier has made his way past Rob McWilliams, I can see, but yeah, so Bruce trying to keep with Eric Marston. Now, thus far, Eric Marston has just, gone about thinking about nailing every apex, hitting every point, and he will continue to do that, I am sure. It's Marston from Cleveland, from Whittle, the top 3 for the Shell drivers. For Shell Am, it's Walters, Monteforte, and Carroll.
Yeah, by the end of this lap, the tire pressures will be up, so let's see Eric Marston's, the race leader's pace, because yesterday he was really dominant in the race, averaging a second faster lap times against his arrival. So let's see Eric's pace today. Cleveland seems to have more pace than yesterday, and also after the opening lap managing to stay within the second from the leader.
This is Roger Monteforte then, who's trying to find his way past Lisa Clark. It's a non-within-class battle. Lisa Clark is a Shell driver. By dint of winning the Shell Am Championship last year, gets elevated to Shell. Now, Roger Monteforte and Roy Carroll, who are running P2 and P3, they are both Shell Am drivers. They want to get on terms with Jerry Walters, who's leading this Shell Am race, but to do so, they've got to find their way past Lisa Clark. Now, Lisa's not going to indicate left and let them go through, that's for sure, because everyone is in overall track position. But of course, the longer it takes Roger Monteforte and Roy Carroll to get by Lisa Clark, potentially, it means that Jerry Walters is able to escape up the road and has a good margin between herself and the P2 and P3 drivers in Shell Am. Eric Marston tried to do the same with Bruce Cleveland in the Shell. So Chuck Whittle and Ray Acosta tried to keep them keen at the same time. So we continue to focus on this because by far and away it's the battle that we expect to really change the shape of things. And Roy Carroll, of course, diving to the inside, or just taking a look at the inside as we ride on board right now and see it from 2 perspectives here. Brilliant to be able to bring you these shots. So Lisa Clark, who has got Roger Monteforte right behind, and so too Roy Carroll. And it is kind of difficult here to try and find the place where you can make it work for an overtake. Those very hard and unforgiving guardrails. You certainly don't want to compromise your P2 position in class, but going into the bus stop is one of the places where perhaps you can make it work, but you don't want to leave yourself vulnerable to the car right behind, which is Roy Carroll. I'm talking of Roger Monteforte here as he tries to attack Lisa Clark, and I think it's going to be a long way around the outside here. Is it going to pay off for him as Lisa Clark closes the door? Roger Monteforte runs wide. Does that play into the hands of Roy Carroll? He very nearly did exactly what I predicted could happen, Tony.
Yeah, very exciting fight going between these drivers. So Lisa seems to be struggling a bit in the braking areas, and the drivers behind him are a bit stronger, breaking into one. Also the corner here, turn 7. So Lisa is a little bit under pressure. You mentioned these cars are in a 2 different categories. Lisa being in Shell and the other drivers being in the Shell Am, but the fact that Lisa is forming this group behind her is forming great racing as well.
This is Steve Check trying to go all the way around the outside of Roy Carroll, and Gabe Harib is right behind as well. So all of a sudden it's become a 4-way fight for P2 in this Copa Shell Am race. And dare I say it, Lisa Clark there proving to be a little bit of a cork in a bottle here, Tony. Of course, she's running in her own race and has absolutely no reason to pull over and let these guys through. They're going to have to find and fight their way past Lisa Clark. She was running in that very category last year and won the championship. Such is Lisa Clark in terms of being a good racer. Under braking, king of the late breakers here, Roger Monteforte. Well, he picks his spot. And in fairness, racing room was left by Lisa Clark, who tries to come back right now at Roger Monteforte, but he's got the get-go. And now it's going to be the turn of Roy Carroll to see where he can pinpoint his needle and thread it through that Copa Shell car that's ahead.
Yeah, quite late move from Monteforte. Lisa also opened the line a little bit, so good and well done on her side, because it could have been a slight contact, door-to-door contact. So she was well aware that it was a bit late move, but all went good.
Looking at the lap times, both Steve Check and Gabe Harib are closer and quicker than Roy Carroll. Roy Carroll, of course, being held here by the 127 car that is ahead, and that is the Lisa Clark car. So Roy Carroll, having seen Roger Monteforte, and now he's escaped, you can see that he's really been able to get up the road and try and take this to Jerry Walters, who is currently running P1 in class. So they're queuing up here. There's Eric Marston, our race leader. I beg your pardon, I don't think it was. There is Jerry Walters, our race leader, certainly in Copa Shell Am. And here comes Steve Check on the inside, potentially, of Roy Carroll. Roy closes the door. And Steve Check is looking very lively here as well. So the pressure that Roger Monteforte felt just a couple of laps ago is now being felt by Roy Carroll, who, once again, by trying to overtake Lisa Clark, doesn't want to leave himself vulnerable to opening the door to Steve Check to come through. So it's a question of where Roy Carroll will be able to pinpoint the place to try and have a go. Is it going to be into turn number 1? If he can get the draft off the back of the Lisa Clark car, I'm not quite sure he's close enough to make a late dive to the inside. No, absolutely not. Discretion, the better part of valor there. And for another start of a lap then, he finds himself looking at the back end of the Lisa Clark car. And just sighting his car wherever he can to try and unsettle Lisa Clark ahead. Just try and find enough momentum to get her to make a small error. Really impressed with Bruce Cleveland here, who's kept within but a few tenths of Eric Marston. This P1 and P2 drivers in Copa Shell are up the road from Chuck Whittle, Tony.
Yes, much closer battle compared to yesterday. So Eric Marston has the fastest lap of the race, but only by 2 tenths ahead of Bruce Cleveland. And we saw the battle in qualifying, and it's continuing here in the race. So Eric needs to fight for his win a bit harder today than he did yesterday.
Yes, the threat of the 158 car driver combo is never far away. In fact, just a couple of tenths away. So yes, there is Chuck Whittle running in P3. Ray Acosta is P4. Then it's John Viscup and Jan Bernier and Rob McWilliams. There's Rob McWilliams in these multicoloured 296 with, and that is for the lead of the race. Roger Monteforte then and Jerry Walters go side by side. So quick was he in terms of getting onto the back of Jerry Walters. Probably he got there quicker than I anticipated, which is why I paused momentarily.
Yeah,
surely he's not done it that quickly, but he has.
Yeah, Monteforte a lot of pace, so he has done the fastest lap of the Shell Am by lapping over a second quicker than Jerry Walters. So that allowed him to close the gap, and very decisive move again. So the second move he did that we see clearly, and same characteristics. So hard, late braking, and was able to overtake the lead to the lead of the race.
Well, the fairy tale of a pole position and a race win would be just really epic, wouldn't it, Amanda Busick for Jerry Walters? But at the moment, it's P2 for her.
20 minutes left in this. There's 20 minutes left in this race, and you think, I've always wondered what the biometrics are of these drivers from being the chased to being the chasee, and you can see that Roger Monteforte was all after it. But going back to Jerry Walters, what a monumental weekend for her, you would think, in confidence and knowing that her abilities on what she earned this weekend at Watkins Glen with those pole positions. I imagine that she was reviewing tape from yesterday's start. She nailed that today, and as she looks back on this race with Roger catching up to her, I imagine she'll have those discussions with her driver coach. But Tony, in this moment, what do you tell your driver after that pass from Roger of getting settled and back in this race with 19 minutes to go?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's always to remain the focus. Even if you lost one place, keep doing what you did earlier. Try to learn from the car that is a bit faster than you. So concentration is the key, and don't let any weird ideas get into your head about the fact that you lost one place. Right? Just keep focused. We are not even in the half distance of the race, so there's still a lot to play for. So focus, focus, focus.
That's what you've got to do. I did notice that Bruce Cleveland was getting so much closer to Eric Marston, and this is Ray Acosta through the bus stop then, with Chuck Whittle and John Viscup running behind Ray Acosta. He looked really good in qualifying and is in a provisional podium place now, up to P3. So well done to Ray Acosta. And Roy Carroll, I can see, has managed to get past Lisa Clark as well as John Viscup. He's lining up the car of Chuck Whittle now into the bus stop. John Viscup then. Seen some great driving from John this weekend, no question about that. And John, a very, very fair driver. When he feels that there is the potential in going for an overtake, that there might be contact, he prefers to dial out of it. You know, a very, very considered and gentlemanly driver. And Eric Marston, Bruce Cleveland, Ray Acosta, the top three for Ferrari Challenge Copa Shell. In the AM driver seats, Roger Monteforte, Jerry Walters, and Roy Carroll. So how quickly will Roy Carroll be onto the back of Jerry Walters? I wonder and I question. So we will see.
Yeah, Ray Acosta with the red and yellow Ferrari has more speed today. So he did a really brave and beautiful overtaking into the bus stop and has straight away pulled away from the other car. So good job from Ray Acosta, car 107.
This is Jan Bernier and Robert McWilliams then, who are tracking P6 and P7 at the moment in the Ferrari Challenge Copa Shell race with Osvaldo Gaio. You can just see in the red car behind them. So there's Rob McWilliams then, the most colourful and vibrant colour scheme across his Ferrari Challenge 296 car. And Jan Bernier, you had a fantastic time of it yesterday. On the podium was Jan, and richly deserved. He's a great racing driver, and at the moment it's P6 and being chased by Rob McWilliams, but for the moment Jan making absolutely no errors at all, and Robert McWilliams not able to find a way by. As they continue to roll uphill here now, it's perhaps not necessarily so easy to see on screen the undulating nature of this track, as John Viscup has really got the measure of Chuck Whittle now. Is he going to make a move going into the bus stop? Well, he was certainly close enough, but Chuck Whittle metaphorically sticking his elbows out and making sure that his 296 Challenge car becomes even wider than it is in defending his position. You can see the lap evolution on the graphics on the left-hand side of your screen between these two drivers. What a battle this is for P4. John Viscup taking a completely different line and making sure that Chuck Whittle's rear view screen is full of the all-blue car of John Viscup.
Yeah, Chuck Whittle is struggling a bit more in this phase of the race. He lost the place to this gentleman, Ray Acosta, a lap or two ago, and look at the gap he was able to pull already. So Whittle doesn't have a lot of pace at this moment, and that's why he's in a risk of losing another place.
So John just pulls back a little bit. Now the margin between the top two in the race overall is only 6 tenths. between Eric Marston and Bruce Cleveland. The gap between these two that are fighting for P4 is about the same. It's Chuck Whittle and John Bisker. This is a fight that is going on in the Shell race for P4 place between these two drivers. Sense of camaraderie and friendship off track is just all empowering. But on track, of course, every driver hugely competitive. For my money, Eric Marston is now just beginning to find his rhythm and make the gap between himself and Bruce Cleveland just a bit bigger than it's been on the previous laps. That being said, he can ill afford to make any mistakes whatsoever, and you can see that Bruce Cleveland remains absolutely determined here. We saw the determination in qualifying, and that determination in qualifying has been posted into determination in the race as well. So Eric is being kept really keen on this, and he's not able to relax even for a moment. But the pace these two drivers have in terms of how they've broken away from the rest of the pack behind them is, well, indicative of why Eric Marston has got the fastest lap. No question about that. And of course for him, that would be yet another point to add to his tally, because in each category, if you get the fastest lap, you add another point to your championship score. So Marston accelerates uphill, so too does Bruce Cleveland. Two very, very good racers indeed. Bruce Cleveland moving categories, of course, this year, and by his own admission, he finds that it's been really tough, as Ray Acosta now sets the fastest lap in Copa Shell, 1:48.853. So the very point that I was talking about just a moment ago gets taken away from the driver that's running P3, Tony.
Yeah, a lot of speed. He keeps posting very strong lap times in P3, Ray Acosta, and like I said, he has found something together with his team for today. So he's really, really on it. And yeah, Bruce Cleveland in P2, he's in a perfect spot to follow closely Eric Marston, see all his racing lines, braking points, and maybe feel even some more confidence in the car. He's been able to stay so close of the race leader for several laps, so he has strong pace as well.
Ray Acosta has been doing a lot of racing and a lot of familiarity, therefore, with the 296 Challenge car, racing just last weekend in Europe. He's doing a great job here this afternoon, Amanda Busick.
That's right, Dave. Yeah, we told that story yesterday of how Ray's spending some time over in Europe getting, as you said, more and more familiar with this 296 platform. It was a P6 finish for Ray Acosta yesterday. We did finish under full Courcheula conditions. He said that he was really confident in his ability to make up some even more positions if we were able to entertain a restart yesterday. But Ray was really honest with me prior to yesterday's race of coming off of Montreal and a penalty that was assessed to him through race control. Said that it was a good learning lesson for him as he continues with more and more seat time in this 296 platform. But maybe this is what we're seeing out of Ray today as well. A little more confidence in getting back in it, trusting himself, trusting his maneuvers. And you know, Tony, as a racing driver and someone that works with drivers as well, how do you move drivers past the mistakes that they make on track back into being more risky?
Again, it's about the confidence. You need to get back into the race car as soon as possible. If you've done some mistakes or you've gone off the track, damaging your race car, the best way to get back into the rhythm is back on track, doing the things you did before you had the mistake. And I think Ray Acosta had it off also in Austin, if I don't make a mistake in the practice. So he's being a bit aggressive and trying to find those limits, so maybe he needed to calm down a bit and then build the new foundation for speed through the trust with the race car and knowing even better what to do.
He is delivering right now, Tony, because he is, just as you and Amanda have been speaking, he has got onto the back of Bruce Cleveland, and this is going to be a fight for P2. Now, Ray Acosta is so much quicker. He has really, really got the hurry up, Bill, and is doing the business here. Now, Bruce Cleveland, you can see, has adopted for his rear view screen, thinking, I'm going to defend here. I've got to defend. All of a sudden, he's dropped back a bit from Eric Marston now, because the threat of the yellow and red Ray Acosta car looms large in his rear view screen. So it is Eric Marston leading from Bruce Cleveland, the car, the centre screen right now, who's P2, and then Ray Acosta, who is coming through and is clearly, utterly determined this afternoon.
Yeah, with the speed he has right now, if he's able to overtake Cleveland, he has even a shot for the win and trying to put more pressure on Eric Marston. So suddenly Ray Acosta's car has come really alive, and he can push lap after lap really hard, and we don't see anything signaling that his performance or lap times are going down. Instead, he is going faster than the leading 2 cars. So very impressive drive so far.
What's also impressive is that in both the classes, the drivers that are running in P3 have set the fastest laps, and Roy Carroll in the yellow and purple car here chasing down Bubbles Walter. Jerry Walters has done the fastest lap for Copa Shell AM drivers, and he's now trying to find his way past Jerry Walters. Now, credit to Jerry, who has been able to keep with our race leader, Roger Monteforte, in Copa Shell AM. So there is Roger Monteforte, there is Jerry Walters, and there is the car that's running in P3, Roy Carroll.
Yeah, Monteforte made a little mistake in the last turn, so turn 11, he came quite wide, and I think he's losing pace right now, so he was not able to pull away from Jerry Walters, and now the 3 leading cars in Shell AM are all together.
This is going to be a brilliant 3-way battle here. Oh, as Robert McWilliams has gone around and finds contact with the barriers. That's on the entry to the bus stop, Tony?
Yes, it is entry to the bus stop. The image is cut very late, so I don't know if there was a contact. It's a very rare place to lose the control of the car by yourself, so there might have been a contact.
So, Roger Monteforte then has taken a deep breath and tried to get it going. Here's a replay, Tony, of what happened.
Whoa, he moved, trying to look for that overtaking opportunity, and just 2 aggressive moves with the steering wheel, and just carrying way too much speed. So he actually went ahead of the other car, and spinning then, around. Yeah.
Wow. So we've got a full course yellow. So, just when we thought the drama couldn't get any more exciting, perhaps it does. Because I don't think it's going to be a long intervention with the full course yellow. Now,
I think did Jerry overtake the leader with the safety car? Hopefully she slows down and lets the leader by. So let's see what the race director and if there will be any penalties. Oh, the car is completely sideways, just around the braking area, and what a lucky move to avoid the other car.
I tell you what, Jan Bernier must have been thinking, my goodness me, where did that suddenly came from? Because it speared to the inside, didn't it? And then, as you say, it was sideways.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe he could have kept the brakes a bit longer. Looks like he let the car roll quite a lot backwards. So I don't know if there would have been a chance to slow down a bit more. But a lot of, let's say, the fastest part of the racetrack where he lost the control just at the time when you touch the brake. So luckily no bigger damage there.
Very easy to say shoulda, woulda, coulda. You know?
Exactly. But from here it's very easy.
Of course. There's the safety car leading the cars away then, and what have we got? Just under 7 minutes remaining of this race. We are under the control of the safety car. Then we could already see that the Robert McWilliams car was moving and underway, presumably returning to the pit lane, which means hopefully this is not going to be a huge, long intervention. But what it does, from an entertainment point of view, it bunches all the cars back up again.
Exactly, and also from the technical side, if there were some drivers who were struggling with the high tire pressures, this helps them for the restart. If we get back to green, going slower now on track means that the tire temperatures and the pressures will come down a bit, so you will gain that grip back if we go green again. Not a good thing, for example, for Ray Acosta, because it looked like he had more pace, more laps we were doing.
Yes.
So this might affect that balance a little bit, and let's see the aggression level. If we manage to go back to green, which I really hope we do, then there's a lot to play for in both categories, so in Shell and Shell AM.
I think Jerry Walters realised the error of her ways and gave that position back again, so that there'll be no implications in terms of in terms of penalty being awarded under the full course yellow. So the top three, Eric Marston, Bruce Cleveland and Ray Acosta.
I think the lights are off.
You're absolutely right. Big spot there, Tony. I should put my glasses on. So we are going to go back to racing. Top three, Shell drivers, Eric Marston, Bruce Cleveland, Ray Acosta. Shell Am drivers, Roger Monteforte, Jerry Walters and Roy Carroll. This is going to be 4 minutes of fun when we eventually get back to racing, I feel sure.
Yeah, now the key is to stay in the rear bumper of the driver ahead and be ready to react at the time when the other drivers go on throttle and try to seek for the overtaking opportunity into turn one and carry the momentum into bus stop.
Okay. Take heed of Mr. Verlander alongside me. Eric Marston then will stack them up. Only he can decide when he's going to give it 100% on the loud pedal, but once he accelerates, he has to stay accelerated. You can't accelerate, decelerate, accelerate, decelerate. He goes for it now. And all the cars, you can see Helen Shue there trying to keep out of the way of everybody because she is a back-marking driver and does so and pulls into the pit lane. Let's go racing once again then. The final 4.5 minutes of this race as Roy Carroll lines up Jerry Walters almost immediately. Eric Marston from Bruce Cleveland and Ray Acosta. We know how quick Ray Acosta was just before the race came under the control of the safety car with that full course yellow. So bring the tyres back up to temperature again, getting those pressures back up again into the bus stop. First time of asking, Bruce Cleveland right with Eric Marston here. So this has been another fillip, if you like, for Bruce Cleveland. But of course he knows that he's hunting and being hunted at the same time because Ray Acosta means business here. Currently sits in that P3 position. He comes out of the slipstream of Bruce Cleveland, but bear in mind, for Ray Acosta, he is going to have Chuck Whittle right up his trumpet as well. So this could go any which way yet. Eric Marston trying to escape up the road. Bruce Cleveland doing everything he can to stay with him as the cars go through and climb uphill once again.
Yeah, Eric Marston is under pressure. He overshot a little bit the bus stop, from mid to exit of the bus stop. He had a bit too wide line, and the same thing now in turn number 7, Toll, where he had a little bit wide line, so the group is all back together, and Eric is pushing hard, but he's not able to pull away a lot.
Roger Monteforte has broken away from Jerry Walters, whose review screen is full of the Roy Carroll car. Roy Carroll has got company himself, of course, just before Steve Check. He has got the advantage of having a Shell driver. Whoa! They touched the barriers that time, Tony.
Yeah, somebody did touch the barrier in the exit of turn 11, so the last corner. We've seen these images.
It was John Visca, I'm sure, because you can see the rearview mirror is missing and he is slowing significantly.
Yeah, it was a quite big hit.
I mean, that was... We were just with that camera at exactly the right time. Oh! John, did he make contact with the back end of Jerry Walters' car?
It looked like it, yes.
So certainly it wouldn't have been intentional. It would have just been a clear mistake. But even so, there is Roy Carroll then, and yeah, John Visca is a back-marking car effectively now, trying to keep the car going. Roger Monteforte leading for the Shell Am drivers ahead of Jerry Walters and Roy Carroll. So, and now Bruce Cleveland under pressure from Ray Acosta, who in turn is under pressure from Chuck Whittle. And all of them, of course, are chasing down the race leader, Eric Marston. We've got a minute and a half of this race.
Yeah, Ray Acosta's car looks really good. He can use a very tight line, good rotation, and he's struggling with less understeer than the leading two cars. So let's see if he can overtake or challenge for the second place.
Well, possibly so. Certainly looks, it's the best we've seen of Ray Acosta all weekend, and we saw that promise in qualifying, truthfully, as Ray Acosta now almost buries the front end of his car into the back of Bruce Cleveland. Such is his desire and determination to get past the 158 car, but for the moment there's no doing. And Chuck Whittle, of course, would like to wrestle away the place that he lost out to with Ray Acosta earlier on. Under a minute remaining in this Ferrari Challenge Copa Shell race. Final lap starts now. It's now or never for these drivers. And does, when you see the last lap,
Yeah.
All of a sudden, do you just drive with 110%, Tony?
Yeah, Bruce Cleveland is protecting the racing line a bit, so he didn't have a good run through turn 1. He carried a good speed through SS, so this opened up a small gap, so Ray Acosta doesn't have a clear chance. There's a lot of variation in the distances. It seems like Ray Acosta is in the bumper, then he loses 3 car lengths, so it's not an easy task to follow the other car, and suddenly feel like Cleveland is putting more pressure on the leader.
You're absolutely right, he is.
Really wide line, the second and third place cars through turn 5.
So where and can Bruce Cleveland put the pressure on Eric Marston? Eric is not now known for making mistakes, and he's got about 5 car lengths between himself and Bruce Cleveland, but under braking, Bruce gets ever much closer to Eric Marston. Then these are the top 3 in our Ferrari Challenge Copa Shell. Race 2 of the weekend here at Watkins Glen. Eric Marston leading from Bruce Cleveland, Ray Acosta, then it is Chuck Whittle, Jan Bernier, Osvaldo Gallo. And for the AM drivers, Roger Monteforte, Jerry Walters and Roy Carroll. Time is running out for any of these drivers to be able to make a move. The closest one is Ray Acosta, potentially on Bruce Cleveland. Bruce Cleveland, who's been defending very, very hard and then attacking when the opportunity has allowed him to do so. He goes back into defend mode for the moment to try and protect that P2 place. But for Eric Marston, what a day, what a weekend it has been. As he heads towards the checkered flag, Eric Marston is victorious in Ferrari Challenge Copa Shell. Ray Acosta tries to outdrag Bruce Cleveland, but fails. Bruce Cleveland P2, Ray Acosta P3. Then in the AM drivers, it's Roger Monteforte victorious over Jerry Walters and Roy Carroll. As the rest of the cars cross the line, well, that had all the makings of being very, very exciting towards the end of the race. What I'm pleased about is no driver took a daredevil approach, Tony, and really tried over the final couple of laps to have a go.
Yeah, we had good driving standards in this race. Eric Marston won because of the pole position, good management, and overall Eric is the most complete on a 1 lap if you combine all the corners together. Cleveland and Acosta had places, areas on track where they were really fast, putting pressure on even the leading Eric Marston, but Eric had places where he was just faster than the other drivers. So congrats to him and a great race, and congrats to also Jerry Walters, who with 2 pole positions in today's race manages to finish P2, so she must be really happy.
Yes, and deservedly so. And the win is a question of when, not if, isn't it, on the pace that we've seen from Jerry Walters today. Well done to Roger Monteforte for winning in the AM drivers. He was utterly determined, wasn't he? And had got extraordinary pace. Very great race to enjoy that one. There is the Jerry Walters car then. What a weekend she has had. And one that will go down in the memory books, that's for sure. Particularly with the fantastic results from qualifying with 2 pole positions. Right, here is the classification of the result. Eric Marston taking the win from Bruce Cleveland, Ray Acosta, Chuck Whittle, Jan Bernier, Osvaldo Gallo. For the AM drivers, Roger Monteforte, then it was Jerry Walters ahead of Roy Carroll. Steve Check, Brian Waltersdorf, Melissa Kozira, great driving Melissa, and then Jeff Nunberg taking that position just behind. You can see there that John Viscup did manage to finish the race despite clattering against the barriers and giving our camera a good see into. Gabe Harib, Dana Goodwin, Neil Langberg, and then Helen Shue. And Rob McWilliams, of course, had an off, and Mike Luley, and then Talal Sher, regrettably not starting the race. Equally, Bernard Gomez and Mitchell Green the same. So there we have it. Copa Shell race. What a race indeed. Thoroughly enjoyable one. And one which, well, it could have changed. The face of it could have changed over the course of the final laps or so, but it didn't happen. And actually, in many regards, I'm glad it didn't, because that would have been unjust.
Yeah, drivers adapted well. Restart was good. Good pace from Ray Acosta, Bruce Cleveland, so they put much more pressure on Eric Marston, so this guarantees close racing for the coming weekends as well. So the next events we're gonna have. So Eric will not have an easy task to win these races. So great to see.
Yes, bit of competition there. Just when you think you've got it sussed. It's the great thing about the Ferrari Challenge. It can change in a heartbeat, can't it? As we've seen from drivers that have shown pace today that hitherto we've not seen this season. So it's a question of just getting absolutely sussed with the car and getting into a position where you feel supremely confident, and that car is delivering for you. Great to see as the first year of this fantastic new 296 Challenge car. Then
What have you got first?
there is the Eric Marston car. He'll be very satisfied with his weekend, that's for sure. Maxed out his points haul insofar as he could. Alongside him is Bruce Cleveland, and in comes the Ray Acosta car right now. His driver coach, Ale Balsan, will be one of the first to congratulate him, I feel sure. There is Ale standing right behind. Brilliant driving from Eric Marston. Hands device, crash helmet comes off. Yeah, he's happy with that. And he, you know, he didn't have it all his own way today. And yeah, the car's all lined up there just ahead of the podium, as you can see. So Eric Marston has got some competition over the remaining races to come, of course, at Sonoma Raceway in Indianapolis and also in Imola as well. And Eric Marston then is with Amanda Busick right now. He's maxed out this weekend, Amanda.
Yeah, he maxed out this weekend, and he did the same thing in Laguna Seca. So twice this year, Eric Marston has swept an entire weekend. But for this one, how much of your time was spent looking in that rearview mirror?
A lot. That was a much harder race. Bruce, man, holy crap, you kept it real the whole time. Wow. Yeah, that was a good race. Had to push the whole time.
When you see the checkered flag after moments like that, how much more satisfying is it?
It's very, very satisfying, yeah. To know that you had to give it your all the whole 30 minutes, yeah, it was awesome. Totally.
Eric, the winner here at Watkins Glen.
Holy crab, I think he said. Well done. And Eric then, as he said, he was kept keen by the car that's right behind him, and that's Bruce Cleveland. That Eric was attacking every curve that he could to try and maintain his P1 position, and he did maintain it as well. So great driving and great camaraderie between the drivers as well, Tony. You know, he was the first there to say, hey, Bruce, you kept me keen.
Yeah, everybody's aiming for that win, but we also mentioned many times, as we see the points here, it's about consistency. Now we see Eric Marston controlling the races or winning the races, but you just need one DNF and everything changes. So clever driving from Ray Acosta and Bruce Cleveland.
Thanks, Tony. Eric Marston leading the points on 262 ahead of Chuck Whittle, Jan Bernier, Robert McWilliams. Bruce Cleveland has moved up a place to P5 in the points ahead of John Viscup, who drops a place. Then it's Lisa Clark and Osvaldo Gallo. Then they are the top 8 in the Copa Shell Drivers' Championship, with Cyril Choksi missing this weekend ahead of Mitchell Green, Ray Acosta and Mike Luley. So the 12 drivers in the Shell Drivers' Championship, that's their tallies. For now, we'll, of course, bring you the Shell Am Drivers' Championship in due course. But Roger Monteforte won for the Shell Am Drivers. He's with Amanda right now.
And he had his family here at the podium to greet him after that drive. And you go back to the start of the race, it was Jerry Walters that was able to build a lead. You were kind of stuck behind a car out of class for that little bit, got around, and then you planned your execution. When did you know was the right time for that overtake?
I had to get close enough, had to get within striking proximity, and I tried once, failed. Fell back, and then the next time I knew I had it, I just got a good start order and just took the opportunity.
There was another opportunity for those cars to come after you. What was going through your mind on the restart?
Oh yeah, just keep a really good pace, and anytime it got tightened up a little bit, I just added a little bit more to the next lap and just kept the gap.
Roger Monteforte also sweeps it here at Watkins Glen.
Well done, Roger. Great drive, and as he says, he just knew what he needed to do, and he did it, and that's what's important. We'll be bringing you the Copa Shell Am Drivers' Championship points in just a moment. Just to give you an idea of who's doing what and where, and here they are. Roger Monteforte then leads with Steve Check in P2. Brian Walterstorff is P3. Jerry Walters look up to P4 in the points, ahead of Dana Goodwin, Roy Carroll, Jeff Nunberg, and Gabe Harib. They are the top 8 drivers, followed by Paul Lynn, Helen Shue, Darren Bernstein, David Williams, Al Hegyi, Talal Shaer, and Melissa Kozera. They occupy positions 9 through 15 with Neil Langberg and Bernard Gomez, P17, the Shell Am Drivers' Championship. From Tony and myself, thank you so much for watching the Copa Shell race this afternoon. We have a Trofeo Pirelli race coming soon. Bye-bye for now.